Welcome to Bridge Fundamentals. This 9-part series explains the expected etiquette, ethics and basic mechanics essential in playing bridge in a competitive situation. Today we look at what happens at the end of the board and the end of the round. We are now in play and we have completed the board or round. Today we explain the proper table manners and processes associated with the end of the board, then the end of the round, and moving to the next table. Keep any postmortems of a hand to the end of the round, or better still, the end of the game. If you do discuss a hand, make sure you do it quietly, as the players around you may be still in play and find your discussion distracting. If you are loud enough that multiple players from other tables know the outcome of your board, you can be penalised for this. Your opposition does not need a lesson, and neither does your partner. If you are asked, by all means provide an opinion, but otherwise keep them to yourself. There is no need to tell your opponents they were lucky they made a contract. They probably know this and are being polite by not rubbing it in that you made a mistake. No one likes to have their noses rubbed in it. If you defended well, be satisfied with that. No need to broadcast your great defence. No one enjoys watching two people sniping at each other, so keep it together until after the game. You are not permitted to touch anyone else's cards. If you want to check a card and you have not turned over your card, you may ask them to show you their cards. You may advise an opponent they have placed a played trick the wrong way. Whilst no one likes an ungracious opponent, everyone likes one that acknowledges their opponent's good play. There is no need to thank your opponents for their mistakes. This is totally unnecessary and puts you in the worst possible light. At the end of the board, the most important thing to do is agree the contract, the result, and the score with the opponents. Do not collapse your played tricks or shuffle your cards until everyone has agreed this. Now shuffle your cards, even if the hand was passed out, and place them back in the slot of the board that you removed them from. As a player, except for the first hand of the day, there's a very good chance the hand was passed out if it's perfectly sorted when you take it from the board. The scorer has usually entered the contract details earlier, so all they need to do is confirm the number of tricks made and enter this into the BridgeMate, which calculates the score. Do this quietly, as the table next to you will be most interested in your result. Once the checker has verified the score, they accept it. Once all cards are returned to the slot, the non-scorer takes the board off the table and places it face down on the side table. Subsequent boards are placed on top until all the boards have been played. This keeps the boards in order for the next table. You will typically play a Mitchell movement, where north-south is stationary and east-west move to higher numbered tables. But sometimes the director will have to use a Howell movement because there would be a long sit-out, or the number of players is too small for the Mitchell movement. There are many variations of these movements, so listen carefully when the director announces it. The movement of players is always shown in BridgeMates at the end of the round, and they always show the players' names and boards to be played at the start of a round. In a Mitchell movement, the north-south pair are stationary, while the east-west pair move to a higher numbered table. North-south normally passes boards to lower numbered tables, but sometimes the director will ask them to place the boards on a standby table or share a set of boards between two tables. There can be a sit-out in this movement, and there are generally two sets of results, one for north-south and one for east-west. In a Howell movement, there is only one section with a single pair as the winner. Each pair plays every other pair. Each pair plays all the boards. There is always at least one stationary pair. Some boards sit at a relay or waiting table during a round. There may be a sit-out for a maximum of 3 boards. Players follow the movement instructions on a table guide card. These cards also show the boards to be played at each round. The bridge mates show both the movement instructions at the end of the round and what players and the boards to be played at the start of the next round. These 3 table cards show the various ways you may need to move within one howl movement. On table 1, north-south is stationary, while east-west always goes to 5 north-south. At table 2, both pairs move. At table 6, east-west always goes to 4 north-south, while north move to either 2 east-west or 2 north-south. Always check your bridge mates before you leave a table and after you get to the next table to make sure you have moved correctly. Table cards should remain on the table at all times, and you can place the boards on top of them. A good tip for getting the howl movement correct is to note the player that is in front of you and follow them at each move until the end of the game. You have now played every board in the round. You should thank your opponents and if time permits have a friendly chat, preferably not about the hands played. All players move or don't move as required by the movement. North-south always moves the boards, so don't be lazy. If the east-west pair have to pass the board, they may accidentally see something that compromises the playing of the board. The scorer should be careful not to click through the player names until everyone is seated at the table and players are verified as correct. This concludes part 7 of the Bridge Fundamental series. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and we hope it enhances your bridge experience. Next, we discuss in play the sit-out. Feedback is welcomed and can be emailed to office@waverleybridgeclub.com.au.